All right, in this last video on the deck of cards little exercise, we're going to style everything else. The heading, the button, the background. So no React stuff, just CSS. So skip it if you don't really care about it. Otherwise, let's get started. We're going to begin by giving a dark background to the entire app. So I'm going to do that in the index.css, and we'll just give our body a background of this color, 17181C. And there we go, we have that dark color. Now I'm going to work on the heading. So inside of my deck.js component, I'm going to style this a bit differently. I'm going to have an H1 that says card dealer. And then below it, I'm going to put an H2 that says a little demo made with React. And then I'm going to give them both a class. So class name of deck-title. And then I'm going to give the second one a class of subtitle as well. Then in my deck.css, I'm going to select deck-title. I'm going to give it a color of, how do you pronounce that? Azure? I don't know. I've never really had to say that word out loud. So however you pronounce it, I think it's Azure, right? Anyway, I'm going to give it a font size as well. And we'll do maybe 40 pixels. And then I'm going to do a text transform, which just makes everything uppercase. And then letter spacing of 4 or 5 pixels. Let's see how it looks. Okay, so that letter spacing just makes it spread out a bit more, gives it a stylized look. I'm also going to give it a font. So the font is called Slabo from Google Fonts. I'm going to go to my index.html and paste the link for that font. There you go, Slabo, S-L-A-B-O. And then close out of here and go to my deck title. And actually, I think I'm just going to give it to the entire deck. And it's going to be font family is Slabo. Like that. And actually the name is, I think it's 27 pixels as part of the name. Save. Okay, so the font did change. It's kind of hard to tell, but this is thicker. Now we have this new font in here. Next, I'm going to style the subtitle a little bit. So anything that has the .subtitle class, or just subtitle, is going to be font size of 20 pixels. There we go. Next, I'm going to add in these little diamonds around the title and subtitle. It looks good enough. Now let's move on to the button. So back in our deck.js, we have this button. Let's give it a class name of deck-btn. And then style it inside of our deck CSS .deck-btn. And the first thing I'm going to focus on is just removing some of the basic styles, like the background is going to be none, outline. These are all just overriding the basic stuff. Font is going to be inherit. Font : inherit. We're going to set some margin on it. And it will be 0.5 EM. Feel free to play with these numbers. Then we have padding, which will be 1 EM, 2 EMs there. Okay, so we're getting the basic shape of the button now. And then I'm going to give it a text color, which is going to be 009688. Sort of that tealish color. And then we're also going to do another group of selectors for when we hover over that deck button. And we'll give it a border color of 4CAF50, just the numbers, or the colors that I liked. All right, so that's the hover effect. And we'll also make the text white when you hover. Let's also increase the border to be 2 pixels solid. Okay, so we're getting that effect now. Lastly, there's a little animation that I found on CodePen. And we're going to begin by giving transition on everything of 0.25 seconds. So that will make everything happen slower. You can see now it's not happening immediately when I hover. And then when we hover, we're going to add a box shadow. Now this box shadow is going to be inset 0002 EM. And then the color is going to be this right here. Same color. And the effect that we get looks like that. We're animating that box shadow in. Again, this is coming from a code pen that I found, but I think it looks pretty nice, sort of closing in on itself. And now when we click, we're getting our cards. All right, so that's our little card demo. It was really about using component did mount and then also Axios, requesting data, updating the state, and some fun styling, I guess, getting it to randomly change that transformation. All right,